Hey, I'm Mac. Welcome back to my channel. So I have an idea that I've been thinking about recently and I'm really excited to talk about, but I'm just going to preface and say that it's not as fun as my past couple videos, unfortunately, but I think it is really interesting. Wow, what an opener, huh? So we know, I know that there's been plenty of discussion of the ways that MLMs are, in many ways, economic cults or commercial cults, because there are so many areas of overlap where they're more similar than dissimilar. But I was thinking about, probably based on just my life experiences with substance abuse, and that's all you're going to get out of that, other than the fact that I'm in recovery right now. Um, the In many ways, it is similar to observing the behavior of an active drug addict or alcoholic. It's really strange, and that's going to seem crazy at first, but hear me out. I would say what makes MLM so fascinating to people who have never even been in one is it's similar to why cults are so fascinating to people who've never been in one and who would never join one. It is so interesting to see how a group can get someone to behave along with wanting to help spread awareness about these types of destructive groups. And I would say one of those traits or one of those behaviors that's so mesmerizing to see someone do is the fact that your entire life becomes a lie when you're in an MLM. And I'm not exaggerating. Almost everything you say is a lie. You are constantly lying. You are probably lying more than you tell the truth when you're in one of these groups. You lie to your partner about how much you're spending and how much you're making, if anything. You lie about your lifestyle. You say that you travel the world. You say you're financially free. You say that you have time freedom. You tell everybody that, even though you don't and you're not. You never admit where the money that you're investing into the business actually comes from. You always try to avoid saying that you put it on a credit card. You are always saying that you're going on an all expenses paid vacation when everybody knows that these vacations, number one, they're not vacations. If you have to go with your company, that's not a vacation. That's a business trip. Okay. And they're not paid for. Okay. You at least have to buy your flight. I've never gone on a business trip where my business didn't pay for my flight. Like, my employer always has paid for my flight. They pay for everything for a business trip, including, at least for me, the most that I've gotten, I got $50 every single day to spend on food or going out or whatever. I've never had to spend, you don't have to spend anything for a business trip, but you constantly tell everyone that you don't have to pay for anything. It's completely paid for, even though we know for a fact that's not the case. Tell lies about the product features. You lie and say that you knew about the products before you started trying to sell them. You lie and say that you've tried them. You lie and say that it's because of these products that you have these results, when really you could get those results from anywhere else, or you didn't even need those results because you already had them. You will lie and say that you have this enormous, ginormous, huge, authentic, organic following, and that you're just so authentic and real, even though you're probably buying your likes, buying fake followers, or the only people that are liking and commenting on your stuff are also distributors for your MLM. You say that you're retired when you're not. You're just working for someone else. You say that you retired your husband when you didn't. You tell everybody that you talk to that you've looked at their profile, that you've really determined that they'd be a great fit. You just love their aesthetic or whatever the hell, even though you've never looked at it. And you say that you don't copy and paste your messages and that they're not from templates that you have and that you're not going through and just pasting it in there and sending the same thing to everybody. But you are, and you know you are, and you spend all day doing it. You spend all day doing this and then you deny that you did it. You tell people that you never ever cold message. You don't cold message even though all you do is cold message. You will swear up and down that you don't benefit at all when they join. You don't benefit whatsoever when you recruit someone into the business. Then why are you doing it? Again, you're lying. Do we see here how now think about how this goes on the day-to-day. Someone who's in one of these companies, from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to bed, are lying to everybody about everything almost nonstop. They probably tell 90% lies in their statements throughout the day and in most of their discussions because they're lying to their partner about how much they're spending and how much they're making. They're lying to everyone they're trying to recruit, saying that, oh, you're perfect for the business. Oh, I make so much money. Oh, I got so many vacations. Oh, blah, 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 blah. My life's so amazing. So you're just lying. You're lying to your friends about what you actually do and about the nature of your work. And even though that they know that you're full of crap, like you're still lying to them. And you're just lying to everybody. And that's psychologically taxing and it's damaging when you do that all the time. It's stressful to lie. And it deteriorates your entire reality. It becomes very hard to exist in a world where you're telling this many lies. And this brings me to where I started thinking about the analogy between substance abuse, drug addiction, and or being an alcoholic and MLM, which, hear me out. Both of them, they turn good people, they get good people to do bad things. It's not a moral failing, but it gets you to do immoral behaviors on a regular basis that you would never have engaged in before the situation started. Maybe you would never shoplift, but you were out of money and you were getting the DTs. They took it. Maybe you would normally never lie to your husband about using a credit card or opening up a credit card that he doesn't know about. But I mean, this is for your business. Like, you're going to make it back. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. He should be thanking you. There's nothing wrong with it. And that immoral behavior, there tends to be a very defined, recognizable set of those behaviors that you see in almost every case. For example, the getting people to buy a starter kit on a credit card, telling them, oh, you'll make it back. You'll make it back. You see that all the time, like clockwork. It's like watching the same story over and over again. Similarly to how with substance abuse, there's a very set pattern that this bad behavior goes in. It's stealing, lying, putting other people in danger, etc., etc. And it's not any other behaviors. It's a very predictable set of behaviors, almost to the point where it's robotic. So another similarity, both drug addiction and being sucked in by an MLM usually happen, or at least frequently happen, in an effort to get out of or escape from a negative situation in your life. It's often in an effort to cope with either stress at work or stress about not having work or stress about losing a job or about a job being unfulfilling and you just feel empty, and so you start using to kind of fill that void or to make it easier for yourself to cope. And it's kind of a lot like the way that MLMs happen. They always say like that no one joins one when things are going great. You don't join an MLM because things are just awesome. It's some kind of it's your ticket out of some negative situation. Next, I would point out that it starts off, it's no big deal. I mean, if where it starts where all that happened, then it wouldn't be a big problem now, would it? Substance abuse like MLM starts in pockets of time. Okay, it's not a full-time thing. It starts in pockets of time, here and there. And a lot of people with full-time jobs hold down their full-time jobs and they just do the substance abuse in pockets of time. Yeah. Well, that alone is not a big problem, is it now? Nor is it a big problem. Well, it's still a problem, but one bottle of liquor is like $20 or less. Starter kit's $199. I mean, it's not a huge major investment. I mean, it's a lot of money, but it won't ruin your life or anything if that were where it ended. But that's not where it ends. It's going to expand and it's going to consume and take over as much of your life as it can until either it damages you beyond repair or you finally get that wake up call and you get yourself out of it. But until then, it's going to grow and grow and grow. It never stays stable. It's going to grow and consume more and more of your time, your money. It's going to sacrifice your relationships. It's going to demand more and more from you until eventually it consumes you or you give it up and get out. And I feel like that's true of both. With an MLM, they quit when they run out of money and no one will lend them no more. Or when they find some good anti-MLM content. Next, let's go to probably one of the two most important topics in this concept. Financially. It's never a huge investment out of the gate. Sometimes the first hit is free. The starter kit could be $99 or what have you. Yes, it's a chunk of change, but it's not thousands of dollars. It won't ruin your life for $99. It might make you a little strapped for cash, but it won't be catastrophic or anything. That's just the beginning. That's the problem. Eventually, nothing will be safe. And that's where the danger is. You will sacrifice anything. You need the rush. You need the relief. You need the success. You'll start charging cash advances. You'll start going into debt. You will start emptying savings, selling investments, selling your possessions, selling clothes, selling things on Poshmark for cash to feed the monster, whichever monster it is. And your family and friends will become an ATM and lies will be your pen because you just need this money so that you can, so that you can stop being so shaky and, because this month is going to be the one, you guys. Like, this month is going to be it. And eventually, once your friends and family get tired of being constantly lied to, you'll have to find a way to steal from them or sign them up for your MLM without telling them, or just hide everything from them. Just don't tell them anything, just don't be around them, you don't have to be around them so much. Every time you're around them, they nag you about your MLM. They nag you about your drinking. Who needs them, right? Besides, this month you're gonna recruit that rock star consultant that's gonna send your business skyrocketing, aren't you? Yeah. And I'm off this stuff for good. I just need one more hit, right? And what about all the information that's out there? We know that both on substances and on MLMs, the statistics are overwhelming. We know that the majority of highway fatalities are caused by crashes where alcohol was involved. The majority. Even though the majority of crashes do not involve alcohol, but the majority of fatalities are accidents where there was alcohol involved. So it's very clear. It's settled. And yet that doesn't break through to people that are in an active cycle of alcohol abuse. Because every addict thinks that they're special. They think that they're exceptional. They're an exception. Sure, that's true, but that's what happened to those people because they didn't know how to handle themselves. They didn't know how to stay cool. They didn't know how to keep it under control. And I do. I'm the exception. I'm different. You just see this persistent belief that those stats apply to everybody else, but you're different. Those stats are just telling you how many people aren't like you. You won't be like everyone else because 99.7% of people don't work hard, but you're very hardworking, so it's different for you. You're not, yeah, that's what happened to them. The good thing I'm not in the 99.7% then because I'm exceptional. I'm different, not like them. And this brings us to the last point, and probably the most important. It starts off with maybe you do a little bit of drug use with your friends. Maybe you drink with your family, time to time. It's not a big deal. But then you start using without them. And then you make new friends who do use and who do drink to excess and start hanging out with them more because they get you. They're not always asking you and bugging you and nagging you about your drinking or your drug use or what have you. They're not always asking questions. They get you, okay? So you can hang out with those people because with them you can just be yourself. It's a community. Yeah. Well, that's a lot like your friends and family who are tired of your MLM, who are tired of you hitting them up for money, and who are tired of seeing you brainwashed in this business and not seeing that you are losing money and are tired of you being in denial about losing it. And they're also tired of seeing you get hurt. And that's eventually where you're going to end up. And you're going to find in both cases, when you quit, those friends that you made, they won't be there when you quit. I've been Matt. Peace out.